I've been working on this online course, which I'll tell you all about at the end of this video, but in it we're looking at having uncomfortable conversations and sitting in that and even talking to people about that. It made me realize how much we, or me, sometimes forget that that is a natural part of life. There will be discomfort, there will be uncomfortable things that we need to address, even if they are not quote unquote bad. It is still important to be aware that there will be a level of discomfort or uncomfortable conversations that are required throughout our lives. It doesn't matter how woke we are, it doesn't matter how much we've practiced our self-awareness and our growth, it doesn't matter how emotionally intelligent we feel like we are, or others think that we are. Feeling discomfort around approaching certain things in our interactions with others, in our communication with others, will always be there. So I feel like it's one of those things that is most important to first acknowledge, and maybe even check in with why that feels uncomfortable for you. Again, it's not to say that it's a bad thing that it does, or that it shouldn't feel uncomfortable, or that it's something that you need to turn around completely. Things may stay uncomfortable, but the important thing is to acknowledge it, to notice why it feels uncomfortable for you, so you can just be with it and almost accept it, and to then refocus on the connection. So rather than focusing so much on the message or what has to be said, if we come at it from a place of connecting, genuinely connecting, when we are communicating with others, when we are approaching these conversations that may not feel super comfortable. Again, they can be really about really good things, but sometimes when there's an element of maybe vulnerability, it can feel uncomfortable, or when there's an element of not knowing how the other person might react or respond, it can feel uncomfortable, but that will always be the case. So if we are focusing on approaching it with the intention to connect a little deeper, with a little more understanding, and the intention to connect in a way that opens us up to hearing the other person rather than just saying what we need to say, then that will make it so much easier. And there will be times where sometimes we have to just say what we need to say, but if we still have that underlying intention of, I'm saying this in order to at least attempt to connect deeper, or connect more, or to build connection, it's all about connection. If we can at least approach it in that way, even in those moments where we may feel like we just need to get it out, we need to say it, and whatever it is, that makes a difference. That changes the energy in the interaction, and the other person may or may not respond to that still, but changes your energy, so it almost makes it a little less about the discomfort of what you have to say, even though that will still be there, but it makes it your focus a little less about that and a little more of, well, I'm just trying to connect. So in order to do that, I need to bring this up, or I need to talk about this, or we need to approach this topic, whatever it is. So when you shift your energy on this heightened element of maybe anxiety or fear of, oh, what happens if I bring this up, to, yes, that still feels a little nervy or a little something or super uncomfortable for me, but this is my intention, it automatically grounds you a little bit more. And that is really, really powerful. So that's really the message for today, is just approach things with the idea of connection rather than what the message is. The message is important, of course, but if you're feeling that level of discomfort, know that that is normal, and recognize why it might feel uncomfortable for you, but also just keep approaching it with the idea of connecting. And that changes a lot in the workplace. It changes so much, even if the other person doesn't respond in the way that you're hoping, or in that way of connecting back, it changes how you show up in things. which is a huge difference. So on that, this all came from my creation of my next online course that I'll be running. The details are yet to come about when that will be, but it's a 4-week course that will include live training sessions with me as well as live Q&As, and you'll be able to catch the replays if you can't make it at that time, whatever it is. But we cover these things. It's the basics of uncomfortable conversation. So it's getting comfortable with the fact that we may feel uncomfortable. And each week covers the basics around the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence that I cover in my other higher level trainings for workplaces and corporates, which covers things like the self-awareness, the self-management, the social skills and relationship management, but in a really specific way, related and targeted to some common areas of discomfort in conversations that all of us will experience in one way or another more than once in our lifetimes. So it's the basics, but it gets right into practical tools that you can explore and take with you. So I will be sharing more about that in the coming weeks. And it's obviously, because it's online, it's accessible to anyone. The world is online, so that's how we're doing things. And that was just what inspired this whole train of thought of the fact that we must come to terms with the fact that certain things will be uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean that they are bad, but it also doesn't mean that we can't practice how we show up in that and build our confidence in how we can then approach them. It doesn't mean it'll take away the discomfort, but it will build the confidence and the intention and the energy in which you show up in that, which can change everything for you. So look out for more information for that. But the key message for today is being okay with discomfort. It is super, super okay. And it's super, super normal part of life. And I feel like the more we lessen our resistance to that, the easier it'll be for all of us.